For the second week in a row, Sean Payton cost his team a game and a chance to punch their ticket to the postseason. Sean Payton let Bo Nix and the Broncos down again. We're diving deep into that conversation right now. All right, Broncos fans, Broncos country, what is up? Welcome to Dover on Denver. We're not here to celebrate a postseason berth, right? For the first time in 9 years. Nope. Instead, for the second consecutive week, we have to pick apart what Sean Payton didn't do. And last week on Thursday Night Football, that game feels like it was 10 years ago, against the Chargers, he didn't run the football, and they could have punched their postseason ticket then. This week, they go to Cincinnati, right? Huge game. The entire NFL world is watching. And Sean Payton was a little scaredy cat. Are you kidding me? Sean, you didn't go for two. Why, my man? I'm asking you. Broncos country is asking you. Heck, I bet you if you did a straw poll in the locker room, there'd be about 53 guys in that locker room that are asking you, why? Why did you not go for two? I have a great question. I'd love to know what 2009 Sean Payton would think of 2024 Sean Payton. You know why I go back to 2009? Because that's the year that Sean led the Saints to the Super Bowl. And you know what Sean and the Saints did in the Super Bowl? They went for and converted an onside kick to start the second half. So you're going to tell me there's a dude somewhere inside of Sean Payton that is aggressive enough to go for an onside kick in a Super Bowl and have the trust in your players that they're going to convert it. And that's exactly what they did back in 2009. Then you fast forward 15 years later, and he's afraid to go for two? Are you freaking kidding me? What are you afraid of, Sean? You're afraid of what people would say if you didn't convert? Well, look at what we're saying now that you didn't even attempt. I would take the former on that if I were you. And I say this all the time. And you're foolish if you think it's opposite for you. Sean Payton knows more about football than me. He knows more in football than you. But what he did on Saturday in Cincinnati was, that's scared. Scared money don't win, coach. Scared coaching certainly don't win. And we saw that. You admitted to wanting to play for the tie. A lot of you have kids out there, right? I don't have kids. I'm involved with my nephew and basketball stuff, and a couple of nephews play hockey. I don't want to be the parent screaming from the stands, right, on your kids or your nephew's basketball games or niece's games, whatever you attend. But if my 4-year-old nephew's coach said we were going to play for a tie, I'd be screaming at him, and it's 4-year-old basketball up in Northglenn. Okay? Sean, I cannot believe that you were once the guy that went for and converted an onside kick in the Super Bowl, and then you were too scared to attempt a 2-point conversion against the Bengals. And what do you think was going to happen, Sean? You think you were going to slow down Joe Burrow? The one punt that you had actually did come in overtime, so maybe you get some credit for that. But you weren't slowing down Joe Burrow. Riley Moss wasn't slowing down T. Higgins. For some reason, VJ wasn't having Patrick Surtain follow around Jamar Chase. So if it wasn't PS2 on Jamar Chase, you weren't slowing him down either. I literally just don't know how he got to that conclusion. We saw Bo throw up the two. I'm assuming Sean was saying two first in his headset, which is what led to Bo throwing up the two. I just don't get it, Sean. Why? If you have a good reason, tell me in the comments. But if you're also one of these people that are telling me you would have done the same thing, well, guess what? You just got kicked out of my foxhole. I'm not rolling with y'all. If you were not going to go for the win, that's what you do. You're on the road. You didn't have momentum. You had a moment with the Marvin Mims touchdown. Hell of a catch from 19. Bo just threw that thing up there, and 19 went and got it. He's not even a big, top of the point catch the ball guy, but he went and got it at that moment. So great play from Marvin Mims, but you can't say they had momentum. They had a moment, and then you kick the field goal, so you lose all of that momentum anyway. So you completely screwed this up. This loss and the Chargers loss is 100% on Sean Payton. I thought we'd be sitting here on Dover on Denver talking about a playoff berth, talking about Buffalo or Pittsburgh. What's the best matchup? Well, now you got to back your way into the postseason, beat a Carson Wentz-led Chiefs team. I don't even think that's a given, right? Knock on wood or whatever this table's made out of. That you get that. Then you're backing in and having a chance to go to Buffalo. Now, all good. I still want the Broncos to go to the postseason. I still want Bo to get those, the first postseason nerves out of the way so that in 2025, when they make the postseason, they could really focus on winning. But man, Sean Payton, you absolutely blew it. I got some numbers that I want to share about 2-point conversions. A hat tip to our buddy Andrew Mason at denversports.com. He had these on his social media. So in the last 10 seasons, a 2-point conversion has a success rate of 48.2%. 1-point PAT, that's all the way up at 94.2. You're obviously just kicking it. They've moved it back a bit, and that's where you get the 6% discrepancy there. Road teams win 41% of the time in overtime. Ties, you get 6% of that. So that's what Sean was playing for? Sean was playing for 6%? You're playing on a 6% chance that you have a tie, rather than the 48% chance that you convert on a 2-point conversion. 48% or 6%. I'm no math major, right? But I know what the answer is on that one. So, Sean, there's more evidence that you made a mistake. You were playing for the 6% that you wanted to tie. A tie? Are you kidding me? What's the Ted Lasso quote, right? Insert, you feel like you're kissing your sister right here. That's what it feels like when you're playing for a tie. Unacceptable. 48%, 6%. Do the math, people. It's not that difficult. So, Sean, yeah, absolutely butchered that one. Oh, and by the way, in overtime, guess what the Broncos did with their 2 possessions? They had a total of 6 yards. 2 possessions, 6 yards. So, yeah, you blew it, Sean. You absolutely blew this one. I love the Ted Lasso stuff, so you can go back and find some of the quotes. It's always fun. Ted talking about tying and what that looks like. I also wanted to talk about what this has done with my, not relationship, because I don't have one with Sean Payton. How I view Sean Payton, that's the right term. When he got hired, a lot in Broncos country and even some folks around the NFL world thought, man, does Sean still have it? Did Sean lose that fastball sitting on a TV set for a year? I never bought into that. I think it's kind of crazy to think after just 1 year, you'd lose your fastball. But I will say this now. In the last 2 weeks, not running the ball against the Chargers. Again, the number there was they ran the ball 7 times on their first drive, and it led to 7 points. Then they ran the ball 14 times the entire rest of the game. This week, I just went over the numbers. He banked on a 6% chance of a tie rather than trusting his team with a 48% chance to convert in a 2-point conversion. So, Sean, you told me, and more importantly, you told the guys in that locker room, you don't trust them. How's that going to work out for you, Sean? You don't trust Bo Nix? What else does he have to do? Now, Bo didn't have a great game. He reverted back into bad feet Bo from weeks like 1 through 4, maybe 1 through 5 if you want to extend it a little bit, and he has to be better. But, Sean, you sending the message to your players that you don't trust them, where is that going to go? And what I kept asking myself, and I wonder if you did this, tell me in the comments. While you're there, like, subscribe. I'd love to see you every Monday and Wednesday on Dover on Denver, what we have happening with Orange and Blue, Mile High Hoops, Mile High Hockey. And, man, we're going to blow up in 2025. So make sure you're there liking, subscribing, commenting so I can come back and chat. But were you like me on Saturday? Did you find yourself sitting in your living room? I watch in my underwear. That's just a visual for you. Finding yourself asking, and maybe for the first time, or maybe you're just revisiting something you've asked yourself before. But it's the first time for me that now, based on the Chargers game and based on what he didn't do against the Bengals and going for 2, it's the first time where I'm asking myself out loud, is Sean the guy for this job? Is he the guy for this job long term? Now, don't twist my words here. I'm not saying you fire Sean Payton today. By no means is that happening, and by no means am I calling for that to happen. But I think it really is. For the first time in his 2-year tenure, that I'm going, maybe this isn't it. Maybe Sean did lose some of that fastball. Maybe Sean is the reason they're not going to go to the postseason if they can't find a way to beat Carson Wentz and the Kansas City Chiefs. And Sean, I hate to have to do it, but you're making this bed. And sooner rather than later, you're going to have to lie in it if you don't correct what you have done here as of late. So I don't think I'm the only one. I'd love to know from you guys in the comments, were you also thinking what I started to think on Saturday? Nobody's calling for Sean to be fired, and nor should you. But you continue to stack games the wrong way he's done like the last couple of weeks. You don't miss the you don't make the postseason. Well, we're all going to be very disappointed. I don't know that the season would be looked at as a failure. That's for everybody to decide on their own, but it certainly would be disappointing. So it was the first time for me in the 2 years that Sean's been around that I started to question whether or not this dude was the right guy for the job. I don't want to have to do that anymore, Sean. And you have to be better so that we don't have to do that. This has been Dover on Denver, and now I'm done.